Why doesn't somebody fight the drug price situation, meaning equalization? There's a term. It's called equalization. Nobody wants to mention that term. And I'm not knocking the drug companies. I'm really more knocking the countries than the drug companies because they're forced to do things. But the drug lobby is the strongest lobby in this country, they say, the drug lobby. It's between that and lawyers. And they have a lot of power. But starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries where they paid a small fraction of what, for the same drug, that what we pay many, many times more for. And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. But again, it was really the countries that forced Big Pharma to do things that, frankly, I'm not sure they really felt comfortable doing. But they've gotten away with it, these countries. European Union has been brutal. And the drug companies actually told me stories. It was just brutal how they forced them. And European Union suing all our companies, Apple, Google, Meta. They're suing all of our companies. They end up, they have judges that are European Union-centric, and they get rewarded $15 billion, $17 billion, $20 billion, and they use that to run their operation. Not going to happen any longer, that I can tell you. So what's been happening is we've been subsidizing other countries throughout the world, not just in Europe, throughout the world. European Union was the most difficult from what I understand. I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up, and he said, President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on? He said, so I checked, and it's the same box, made in the same plant, by the same company. It's the identical pill that I buy in New York. And here I'm paying $88 in London. In New York, I'm paying $1,300. Now, this is a great businessman, but he's not familiar with this crazy situation that we have. But he was stunned. But it was just one of those stories. And I brought it up with the drug companies, represented by somebody who's very, very smart, good person, too. And we argued about it for about half hour, and then finally he just said, because they can't justify it, he just said, look, you got me. You got me. I can no longer they've been justifying this crap for years. They said, oh, it's research and development. Well, I said, well, research and development, other countries should pay research and development too. It's for their benefit. Why doesn't some...
So, first of all, I'll tell you, honestly, that's a revelation for me. I had no idea. Maybe I vaguely had maybe heard that sometimes the drug is way more expensive here but I never knew that it was to this extent. And that research and development, which China rips us off with that, so they don't have to do any. They just use our white papers. It is egregious that we have been the doormat to every country around the world. It's like, so we've been paying the bulk of this for research and development. Research and development is like, well, aren't other countries benefiting from the research and development that happens here? Aren't they benefiting. So then why aren't they bearing any of the paying costs? Does that make any sense to anyone? Look, it's never as simple as people think. And so I'm sure it perhaps is more complicated. But the bottom line is, I happen to know for a fact we pay through the nose for prescription drugs. And by the way, if you don't have insurance, you are screwed. If you do have insurance, go take a look at just ask your human resources. Take a look at what that bill costs. Because your company has to pay for it. I mean, you buy into it, but your company's got to make up for it. And let me tell you something, some of those costs are astronomical. And now you got to know that Donald Trump coming out like this, doing something that Democrats have been ostensibly trying to do for, a decade or two, is like, I don't remember Bill Clinton ever, signing an executive order. Social medicine came through Barack Obama. It's like, what is that? Because I'm watching him do an executive order, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of, because they're too easily undone. But I think this is brilliant. It's a brilliant press conference, because anyone that comes and undoes this, they're going to be met with a fury. I mean, you're not going to be able to run, operate a campaign running on, well, we got to pay more for drugs. That's just not going to happen. So they're going to have to do it. If they get rid of it, they're going to have to do it clandestinely. All right. Now, you got to know that the gals on The View are not too happy.
Again, he didn't specify which drugs he's going to target or which insurance programs would be impacted, because you see, if you're going to lower the price of the drugs, you got to first fix the broken insurance company, because it doesn't make any sense.
You also, I would think that you.
It doesn't make any sense. He's doing it all wrong. You gotta get the insurance companies first. It doesn't make any sense. Now listen to this.
Have to take money out of politics too, because a lot of these guys in Congress, don't they take money from pharmaceutical? The lobbyists. Yeah, I mean, so if you have money,
lobbyists in other countries too.
But the guy has 153.
Now hang on a second. Did you get that? Joyless Behar says we got to get the money out, because those people in Congress, they're getting money, from the lobbyists. And then Sarah Hines, the gal there in green, says, yeah, but other countries have lobbyists. Why are their drug prices still low? Instead of dealing with that, she just pivots into, Donald Trump is fat.
Rooms in the White House. He can't have one mirror to look into. He's always criticizing. This one's not a 10. This one's a 6. This one's fat. He said the friend is highly neurotic. Hello, look in the mirror.
So
it's bugging them that Donald Trump is doing it.
Proposing here is implementing the most favored nation pricing model. He tried to do it in his first term. And the best layperson way I could explain this is when you go to the grocery store and they're like, we'll match the lowest price somewhere else. He's basically matching lower drug costs in other nations. Now, he's had some interesting support from this. Ro Khanna, a member of the Progressive Caucus, and Bernie Sanders have a bill that basically does this. The main part of it, the main critique of it is it could help research and development. America's the hub of medical research and development.
Well, we were until he got in and cut all of this out.
Well, and another thing is he is saying there's going to be enforcement action if they don't lower drug price, which.
When did he cut it all out? I'm legitimately asking a question. Whoopi says, yeah, but he cut it all that. You mean he cut out research and development? What's she talking about? What's she complaining about? I'll tell why she's complaining. It's Donald Trump is doing it. That's why she said it. No, he's doing it wrong. You got to get the insurance companies first. It's like, no.
That to me is price controls and veers into some socialism. I'm not comfortable.
But here's the problem. When we talked about this, we've talked about lowering drug costs. We say people pay more tax in different countries, because it helps them with their costs. Now, when we suggested that, they said, oh, this is socialism. It's not socialism. Yeah. It's best for the country if everyone can afford their health care.
So here's the thing. No one will convince me that we, the United States, have to bear the cost of all the research and development, and then all of the other countries get to piggyback on that with no extra cost. It doesn't make any sense. And so I don't know if you listen, she's saying the favored nation status. So we're going to pay as low as whatever country is paying the lowest. And they should be chipping in for the research and development. I'm going to be honest. I did not know that it was this egregious, but it is. All right, that's it for now. If you like this video, smash the like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.